All right, y'all, look, what's up, man? Welcome to the podcast with Soul. Make sure you share this video. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't like it, you can give it a thumbs down. Do whatever you feel. Integrity never went out of style. Welcome to all my new subscribers. Appreciate y'all. You can follow me on the Podcast with Soul on Instagram, Podcast with Soul on TikTok, the Podcast with Soul on Spotify and YouTube. So, one of the things that came out during the testimony at the Puffy trial was that Puffy paid over $1 million a year in assistance, 1 million plus in assistance, and his chief of staff. His chief of staff, her name was KK. KK had a salary of $600,000 a year. She kept Puffy's phones. She had access to his emails, his text messages, his phone, everything. And I'm waiting on the Uber to come pick me up. She made $600,000 a year, and she lived in his guest house where he lived in Miami. She was a white woman. Underneath her, she was the chief of staff. Underneath her, Puffy had a butler. His butler made over $100,000 a year. I think $125,000 if I'm not mistaken. And his butler was with him 20 hours a day, 24/7, right? Doing whatever he needed, whatever he needed, something from the store or whatever, the butler, that was his job. Then he had 4 assistants who did similar tasks like the butler. The assistants started off, their starting salary would be $75,000 to $80,000. And then if they worked out over 6 months, after 6 months or a year, they would get bumped up to $100,000 a year. Now, he had 4 of those. So the assistants, when they got hired, God bless you, when they got hired, which was done through KK, who was Puffy's chief of staff, if KK hired them, their orientation or their, what did he call it? What did they call it? They had like a test run, right? Or a trial run. If they were considered to be hired. They wouldn't be hired yet. The trial run would be for 1 week. They would have to go to Miami or LA, wherever Puffy was, and work as an assistant for 1 week to see if they could handle the job. And if after 1 week, KK would call Puff and say, how did the assistant do? Do you want to keep him? Yes or no? And based on what Puff said, the assistant would either be hired or he would be fired. It came out in court during the testimony that some of the assistants, when they got there, Puffy wouldn't even speak to him. Like during the first week, he wouldn't even talk to him. And they pretty much would shadow and work underneath a more experienced assistant who was already there. And some of them testified that Puff wouldn't even look at them. He wouldn't talk to them. One guy, I think, Jonathan Rodriguez, says Puffy didn't talk to him for 6 months. Right? That was his style. Not saying that I agree or disagree or that's good, that's bad, but that's what came out during the testimony. But He also had a personal chef. And, you know, when you look at this lifestyle that this man had, to have 4 assistants with you, and one of them would, is my driver here? I think that's him right there. Yeah, there go my driver right there. So my driver just showed up. Hold on. One of them would, hold on, y'all. They would, if he got on the plane, they would get on the plane. Wherever he went, they would go. One of them would go. All right, we'll see y'all later. Thank you. Where my man at? I got my Uber ride right here, y'all. Hold on. What's up, man? Jose? That's you? All right. What's up with you, man? Thanks for coming to get me, man. So, whatever. Jose, is it all right if I'm making a video in here of me? I'm not recording you. I'm just recording me. So wherever he went, if he got on his jet, the assistant would get on the jet with him. With the butler, no matter where he went, he would have an assistant with him. And if he needed something from the store, you know, something from the supermarket, whatever he needed, he would tell them, text them, or you know, and they would wait. You know, they would get in a car and drive a mile or two and just sit there and wait for the next order or the next direction, what to do next. And this was 24/7, 365. This was every day of the year. And I just thought that was like, you know, how many people have that lifestyle, right? I mean, not to say that it's a lifestyle that you should want to attain, or you know, if you don't have this lifestyle, you're not successful. But this was his life. And when he would do these hotel nights or freak offs, the assistant, when they found out what hotel that he was going to be in, where he was going to be staying, or Cassie was going to be staying, it was the assistant's job to go. They call this advancing the hotel. They would go to the hotel before he arrived, put him out a bowl of fruit, his deodorant, razors, applesauce for his hamburgers, clothes, you know, weed, whatever he needed. Their job was to make the hotel room look and feel as comfortable as his own house. So when he walked into the hotel room, it was as if he was walking into his house. And that was their job. And when he got there, if they needed something from the store, if Jane Doe needed something or Cassie needed something, they would text the assistant and they would go to the store and get it, bring them to him, Tylenol, whatever. And then when they got done in the hotel room, Puffy would just get up, pack, you know, wouldn't even pack nothing. He would just get dressed and leave. And then the assistants would have to come behind him and go and clean up the room and make it look like it looked before he went in there, and clean it up so that it wasn't too messy for the housekeeping crew. And they would tip the housekeeper, and this is what they did. And this is what this man spent $1 million a year on this. This was an expense. This was an expense, man. Yes, indeed. And I just, you know, I was sitting there and I I can't even begin to relate to that kind of money, that kind of life. I don't even know if I would even want that kind of life. But just to know that somebody lived like that is interesting, man. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to drop this video on y'all, man. Integrity never went out of style. Sean G, Podcast with Soul. Peace.